Thank you. So we have this 10, 15 minutes. What you would like to address in that time?
I guess one of the most pressuring things is actually the time management. I've been trying to find this way, trying to find a moment to get in touch with the other two teammates that we should do the exercises with. But somehow, because there's so much on my plate, I always try to get enough time to have a time slot that has enough time to actually be able to sit down and really focus on it, to be really be into it instead of just trying to do it 5 minutes in between. Problem is that somehow I never get to it, and by the time I actually have some free space, my mind is blank on what to do. So it's hard for me. To actually get to these kind of things. And I was, it's sometimes I think it's more like procrastination. And at this, the other point, I also have something like it's not because I'm still busy with a lot of other things that I feel have priority over it at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really trying to get through this circle to break through to find a way to just simply be able to put everything aside and to just step into one thing.
Mm-hmm. So you described a lot of things related to time management and how you are deal with your time. So what you would like to have?
Somehow I would like to be able to put things aside for some other things that might not be pressing at the moment but are important for the future. At the second time, trying to be able to, I think it's like having enough energy at the end of the day to pick up those last tasks for which I do have some time at that moment.
Mm-hmm. So,
I think it's a lot of things together.
mm-hmm. And which of those things you would like to address now?
True. I think this is also one of the things that is trying to find out which one is more important
Mm-hmm.
somehow.
Could it be, maybe it's just my observation, but the kind of problem that you described is related to prioritizing and picking up what to do. And the same thing is happening now, as you're telling that there's a lot of things you want to improve, you don't know with which to start.
Mm-hmm. That's true, and that. I think that's also the case because as soon as I start picking up things, as soon as I get to complete that, I get enough energy from it to continue with the next task. But there's also a lot of things that you're not always able to finish up 100%, and so it stays on your action or to-do list, and then having to start with the next item.
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, you're missing the energy that you got from finishing things.
Mm-hmm. So there's energy, there's completion, there's prioritization. Anything that I'm missing here?
No, I think the distraction actually comes from the prioritization as well.
Mm-hmm. So if you can wave a magic wand and everything will sort it out, what is going to be like?
Being able to prioritize the items at least on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to finish items when I start picking them up. I think those are two very important ones because being able to prioritize for a day and be able to stick to that plan will give me some level of comfort, ease of mind, and being able to finalize them when I have started them
Mm-hmm.
is actually giving energy at the end of the task so that I can start fresh again for the next item.
Mm-hmm. Can I challenge you a bit?
Sure.
if you're going to wave a magic wand, would you really want to be able to prioritize, and that's all?
Mm, I think it's of a lesser concern than being able to finalize it.
But I mean, is that like an end or a mean to get to something?
It is part of a mean, but it is less important.
So once you sorted out time management, once you are able to prioritize and stick to your priorities and save the energy that you like, what's going to happen for you?
What's going to happen for me is that I have more peace of mind and allowing me to start looking ahead in the future, seeing what is happening around me, what's happening around me in the world, in the market, and being able to start think about responses to that so that we can get ahead of things that are coming towards us.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just me, but that sounds important.
I think it is. I think it is. I have a feeling that if we don't do that, it's actually going to make us start lagging behind on others.
Mm-hmm.
If we just keep on working in the now and at the current moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that we need to handle in the current moment. But I would like to spend some more time being capable of looking at the future and not on set times, but being able to set aside some of the tasks for the day and say, okay, now those will be able to wait until tomorrow. I finished off a couple of important things. Let me start thinking about what is coming towards us, or let's do some research around me.
Mm-hmm. And if you can step into that kind of future where you have this peace of mind and you're able to see what's happening in the world, how will it make you feel?
It would make me feel more in control. It would make me feel more that I am ready for things about to come. I will not be surprised anymore about things happening, and I can be surprised of things that are a different surprise, happy surprises instead of surprises that I have to react to at that moment.
Mm-hmm. To not being reactive.
Not being reactive anymore, being proactive, and therefore noticing things and being able to steer away in an easy way instead of having to make a 180 degrees movement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. So, having talked about this a bit, how would you formulate your goal? What you would like to achieve?
I think if I what comes to mind right now is something from Stephen Covey is trying to get away from the first quadrant and moving into the second quadrant of the things that are important and in the future, instead of being busy with the things that are important in the now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more about being in a currently more operational role, going more into a leading position, more into a strategic position.
Mm-hmm. And what is your role when you're in this leading strategic position? Who are you there?
You mean my current?
No, it's not like career-wise, but who do you feel yourself there?
I would like to be one of the how would you call that? The energizers, the ones who start the spark, the initiators, being capable of seeing what's happening, and formulating reactions, and build a team around it to make sure that we can act upon it.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So, what are your thoughts about how you can achieve that?
One of the first thing is trying to be able to tone down on the immediate and important actions in the now. I think it's because a lot of those things are easy to pick up, and a lot of the small things, because I'm able to finish that, will give me energy. But at the end of the day, having done a lot of small things that give you energy, but don't really add on to the future part, will in the end get less energy. So being able to start on some of the bigger things, and being able to start on some of the future things which will not give an immediate reward, that's something that I would like to be able to go to.
So it's like the small stuff gives you the instant gratification, whereas the big things that you want to achieve don't do that.
They give gratification, but because they are spread over a longer period of time, it's hard to start with that. Because the smaller things, I can pick it up, and within sometimes a couple of minutes, sometimes a couple of hours, you get gratification of that. However, the more strategical things, the more things that we're doing for the future, will only start to materialize in the future. So having to deal with that delayed energy is something that I have to be able to prioritize a little bit better, to actually tell myself, I'm going to leave this for now. I know it's going to give me energy because I can do it. I've done it before. It's easy for me to do it. So I'll just quickly do it, and after that I'll get some energy because I got another accomplishment. However, I need to learn to somehow either don't do it or pass it on to somebody else. Those are things that are, because they take time, and those are actually again featured to the future. It's hard to pick that up and to plan that and to actually do that.
You've mentioned several times that it is hard. Can I ask you what can make it easier for you to do those big strategic things?
It's not that it is hard to do the big strategic things. One of the things that I don't start it is that sometimes I have the feeling that I need a large block of time to start it, because I want to finish actions when I start with it. And sometimes I have a feeling if I just have half an hour, then I would say, let's not pick that up because it's bigger than half an hour. Let's just take one of the other smaller things because I can finish that and wrap it up in half an hour.
So again, what make it easier for you to start doing that?
I think the knowledge that even half an hour would be enough, would give enough, not reward, but give enough productivity for the longer run. That things that I start up right now, and that I can analyze, research, pick up or write down, can be picked up next week again and continue to start from that. I think a lot of times I've noticed that if I have done something in a previous week and I started up a week later or 2 weeks later, that there's a lot of things that I just simply don't know that I have done that already, and I can continue working on that. So it's like a reset button after that.
So that's one thing. How helpful do you think it would be?
If I were able to pick up easily where I left off last time, I think it will be more of a confidence for me when I start something, having confidence that it's easy for me to continue next time. It will be easier to pick up partly parts of tasks in the small hours.
What else can make those tasks easier for you?
I don't want to say stop now because of getting into a part, and the reason why I'm slowing down my thoughts now is because I'm also on a second level thinking about how you are coaching me right now, just to try to pick up a lot.
You will
of
have
things.
the recording.
I know, I have, but this is one of my troubled minds. Is that sometimes 3 or 4 streams are just thinking about the same object at the same time. I'm noticing what it's doing to me. I'm noticing that I thought I was stuck in a couple of prepositions. The questions that you're asking me actually took me out of it and started to make me start discovering other paths, other approaches to the problem. So based on that, there's a couple of things that I've got stored now in my memory that I'm going to pick up later on.
Okay, so
I think this is a beautiful moment also because we're already, I think, past 15 minutes.
Yes.
I think it's also a nice moment to wrap that up. Thank you very much, Alexander.
Okay, so your kind of, if I can ask, what did happen for you in this session?
I think one of the most important things is that I got some new insights to it. I got some. I was taken out of a certain position looking at the problem, and I was put into a whole different angle. So I got a different view on what I was doing. You were actually able to take some extra me and put me somewhere else, and together looking at me trying to struggle through a planning.
Okay, and final question: how closer did you get to that your desire for being more in control, being more strategic, being more like a starter and energizer of those things?
I think I found out that there were different forces at play, so different things that were holding me back than before, and trying to work on specific things before. I now get some insights why they did have result, but not the result that I expected, because it was just an aspect of the complete problem. I've seen some other aspects right now, and I know from a couple, I know I have these things holding me back as well. So now for me, it is my second step would be to see if there's any help or solutions in picking that up, seeing how I can handle and control that. And that way, each step will take me closer to my goal. So take the next step.
Okay. So given that we don't have time, I won't ask you to plan some specific actions, but if I may ask you to do that on your own, to transform the ideas and insights into some actionable steps, I guess you may benefit from that.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks.